Can anybody hear me? No. Probably not. All right. Can anyone hear me? Oh, good. Good. All right. Well, hello, Judith Linfor and Linty London, and thank you, Miss Sherry Hughes. Jeff Schneider, too. YouTube is blocking all cell phone video of the plasma fire in Maui. Yep. And I have your video up, Jeff Schneider. We have to listen to the authoritative sources, don't you know? Mainstream media, that's the narrative that they want to promote. Anyway. Hi, Steve, and analog synth player. If you hear a cat meowing in the background, it's Babe. I have to keep him in tonight because I'm leaving tomorrow. So, he's not a happy camper. This is the problem. He's pacing around looking for a way to get out, and I can't let him out because he disappears. So, analog synth player, hello, and Rage Against the Machine. Judith Linfor, yes, hello. Babe, I'm sorry, honey. Barb in Ohio. Jane Northrup. Something to chew on. Hello, Curious Georgia. Marty Lauderdale and Sherry, thank you very much. I'm a Skeptic, Oracle 11. Ask a Son, hey. Cecilia Amarati. I know, it's torture for you. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Oh. Rainy, Cascadia, Nikki Lawrence, hello. So, let's just take a look at... I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. Thunder woke me up. I go to bed looking at radar. Well, I look at radar and then I go to bed. And thought, okay, we're in the clear. Nope. 4 o'clock this morning. Hey, how about I share my video camera, my film of that fabulous haven't been at the top of my game in a long time, but tonight is especially not quite right. Oh, wrong one. Where am I going? Pictures, Carol, pictures. Oh, pictures, okay. So, yeah, it was pretty intense. Oh, and I left my mic on, so it might have been reverberating. Sorry. So they're juicing up some storms here in Arkansas, Kansas. It was clear, this radar. It was clear pretty much. About an hour ago, it was clear. Now, they've got it going again. Severe weather all the time. Look at these extremely low frequencies blasting away California, Nevada. Okay, yeah. Well, severe weather coming everywhere. Severe weather everywhere. But that storm last night, or early this morning, was very intense. The torrential downpours here. I have never experienced rain like I'm experiencing it in Georgia, North Georgia. So, let's just start with this. Scientists says the overwhelming consensus on the climate change crisis is manufactured by a massive government-funded climate alarmism complex. Scientist admits the overwhelming consensus. Yeah, Judith Curry. I've posted Judith. Yeah, she doesn't go along with the official narrative. And unfortunately, the New York Post has decided to it's not happening now. Cool. All right, I got a message saying allow New York Post to have, I know it's in English, allow the New York Post to show ads, and I'm so tired of the ads, and they screw up the articles. Yeah, Judith Curry, climate scientist. She was the head of, I believe, a department of like climatology in the University of Georgia. That's not the official title, but you get what I'm saying. I'm going to link below to this article. You might want to pass it around. New York Post actually has covered this. Wow. Now that is something. But she finally had to leave her position because she was getting so much backlash, so much, that she just couldn't take it anymore. So, okay. This is about to seriously alter our weather. Every single day now, I see these YouTube meteorologists. Well, things have changed. Seriously alter our weather. Well, this is a surprise.
Right now, something is happening in the atmosphere that will seriously alter our weather over the next week. This unsuspecting feature will lead to severe thunderstorms, widespread flooding, and even an increase in rapidly spreading wildfires. And on top of all that, a nationwide temperature swing is on the way that will affect millions of people. And it all starts with this little kink in the jet stream. You see, this tiny disruption in the upper level wind patterns will cause a chain reaction, and that's going to allow for a lot of lift out ahead of the wave. This rising air will be accompanied by significant moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. And inside the wave, there's going to be a pocket of cooler air aloft that originated way up here in Canada. Put all this together and you have the perfect recipe for strong storms and heavy rain in this region on Thursday. Early in the day, storms are going to be trekking across Kentucky and Tennessee, bringing isolated strong winds and hail. These storms are going to very quickly move east, impacting the Appalachian and South Atlantic regions. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center is highlighting parts of North Carolina and South Carolina in a slight risk of severe weather on Thursday, with the main threat being strong damaging winds. winds. But of course, a tornado or two cannot be ruled out. Check out the significant tornado parameter on the NAM 3-kilometer model. It actually shows an area of interest in North Carolina right around the time some potential supercells pop up around 4 p.m. Eastern. And once again, these storms are going to have a ton of Gulf of Mexico moisture to work with, so the rainfall rates are going to be really high. And this, of course, is going to lead to a flash flooding risk, especially along the spine of the Appalachians here in the Smoky Mountains. So make sure you're paying attention to all aspects of the weather down here on Thursday, because things are going to be quite busy. Now, as we go into Friday, there's a chance for some stronger storms in the upper Midwest, but for the most part, it seems like the majority of the country will be experiencing much quieter weather. But what's really happening here is much more interesting, and it brings us back to the jet stream. You see, once our little kink in the jet stream goes out to sea, the heavy rain and thunderstorm threat subsides a bit for the most part. And since
All right, you can listen to it. I'll put the link in the chat. But yes, the jet stream. We all knew decades ago that they can control the jet stream. Those electromagnetic frequencies are pretty strong. Very strong, yes, Ryan Hall. And then, I actually have this one up. The next storm keeps getting stronger. Severe weather, severe weather, severe weather. Get it through your brain. Severe weather is the only kind of weather we have today. The next storm keeps getting stronger. Well, I'm tired. I'm really tired of these very strong storms. And I posted on my channel earlier that a recycling plant at a port in Oregon, was it Oregon? I believe it was Oregon, was on fire, massive fire. Recycling plant again. Well, then I see this. That was left to me by our good old Razor Queen. Fire near the French commercial port. Recall, recently there was an explosion at a port in Turkey. Now we have a massive fire at an Oregon port. I know, honey, I'm sorry. So, massive fire all over. At ports, recycling centers are really getting hit. Gotta wonder what's going on. Gee, I wonder. So, that fire.
And another developing.
Oh, no. Actually, I got this from another subscriber who left the information in a comment below my live last night. Garland, Texas, paint factory fire, Sherman-Williams. 2 days ago, I didn't even know about this. Any of you know about this? Confirms explosion, employee injured.
Story that we've been following in Garland, a fire at Sherman-Williams paint plant. Production at the plant is suspended right now as fire crews remain on scene to put out some of those hot spots. Now, we've learned one person is getting medical attention after being hurt in this incident. Video from our field crew shows two massive explosions that happened after the initial call just after 1 o'clock this morning. The first explosion was felt by people in the area.
Me and a coworker, Henry Neria, were sitting in the office and the whole building literally shook. Now, I am a combat veteran and it felt more like I was in a battlefield than just an explosion to me.
Sherwin-Williams tells us that as soon as it gets the all clear from the fire department, it will need to access not just damage, but any environmental impact on that.
Well, that's nice of you, Sherman-Williams. That's quite an explosion, don't you think? Yeah. So, and the Texas wildfires. Cedar Park, that I posted it in a live last night about the apartment complex going up in flames. Home ignition zone. A home ignition zone. Inspections can help you save your home from fire.
And the way the fire appears to have jumped from one area to another is really striking to those whose homes may have been saved.
Let's go to KXAN investigator Matt Grant live on the scene. Matt, you looked into heat ignition zones, something people at home might not want to think about, but probably should.
Well, definitely, especially right now. Right now, you can see behind me, it's still an active scene. There's a lot of agencies that are out here. Texas A&M Forest Service, you can see the Mobile Command Center from Cedar Park behind me, a number of agencies. And experts are saying that, the wind speeds combined with low moisture, dry trees, possible dead limbs and vegetation from the winter freeze that was left over, that's creating an ideal condition for this fire to spread.
Luckily, my wife got out safe and sound, so that's all that really matters.
With homeowners fleeing from the flames.
Seeing families running out of the buildings, it's scary.
We're getting our first look from above. New video of the Palmer Lane fire in Cedar Park showing how the fire tore through grass and brush while appearing to stop short, sparing dozens of townhomes and apartments.
They have an excellent fire department, did an unbelievable job.
Tony Calloway is the chief fire marshal for Travis County and former fire marshal in Cedar Park. He credits the emergency response on the ground, along with good separation between these buildings and the undeveloped land, along with how they were built.
It's going to be in regards to the material that was utilized for the construction of those townhomes, meaning that it was non-combustible exterior walls, proper type of roof material.
The National Fire Protection Association points to ways homeowners can protect their property. This diagram shows what's referred to as a home ignition zone, a buffer zone highlighting the most vulnerable area to embers, 5 feet from your door up to 100 feet away. Experts recommend things like landscaping and clearing away dead leaves, debris, and pine needles from roofs and lawns. Homeowners and apartment managers can request voluntary fire safety inspections, but it's not required. Calloway says apartment complexes, however, go through other inspections and reviews that would catch potential fire hazards.
It'd be highly
It's not required now, but it soon will be required. I think you all know that. All right, this is Jeff Snyder 2's video, which I will link to. And, yeah, like a lot of you, looking at what's happening in Maui really reminds me of the campfire in paradise. It's awful. It is awful. Really awful. So I'm going to start, but do you see this woman lying down here on the road? On the road, fully clothed. Something is going on there that ain't quite right.
This is the thumbnail image used by KHON regarding the plasmosis in Maui that just happened. And there's a major cover-up and a blackout in the media going on right now, so I might be a little bit careful about my language. As you can see in the top right corner, it says courtesy of Leaf Right. So this was a private citizen taking their own video. There is no video on YouTube right now of people from the islands who've posted their own videos. It's all being taken down. There's a major cover-up going on right now. But props to KHON, they used this as their thumbnail, and during their video, they replay this 10-second piece of video 3 or 4 times back to back in multiple different videos that I've watched put out by that news agency.
Managed to get to the Pukalani area where you are now. What are the conditions like now in that area outside?
I mean, if you were here watching the news or did have social media, you'd have no idea. It's so much devastation on the end. It's just dark and a little breezy.
And when you made your way there yesterday, what was visibility like and the conditions like the whole way over?
So I'm just going to turn the volume down. They replay this loop. You can see the truck pull up here in a minute, and they replay this loop over and over. They did an interview with this guy, Leaf Wright. That's him right there. This guy's going to tell you that the video's being taken down off social media for graphic content. And if you look, there's nothing but official news outlets when I do the search for Fire Maui. It's all mainstream news outlets. So there is a blackout. There is a policy in place right now not to allow. This guy right here, he's the only thing close to a private citizen. Everything else is all CNN, MSNBC, mainstream news channels, CBS. There is no private citizens posting on social media on this incident that is allowed right now. And that's what you're going to hear this guy say here in a minute, is that they're taking down video, saying it's too graphic. But if that were, that's not true. There's a policy in place, pure blackout. Otherwise, there would be people's videos that they've uploaded that has no graphic content, like deceased people. They just don't want you seeing. So right now, there is nothing on YouTube from regular people. It's no longer YouTube, it's TheyTube, like cable news. Nothing but official news outlets. On YouTube, the channel of the people, no, they're not letting the people talk about this or show anything about it. It's all mainstream news outlets, nothing but. Keep that in mind as you listen to what this guy says when he says they're taking down video of regular people. It's not just because the cell towers are burned. It's not just because electricity's out or they don't have internet. There is a policy on the social media out, at least this particular social media outlet, not to allow anyone posting private video of the plasmosis in paradise.
Deadly this morning, killing at least 6 people as blazes turn out of control.
You do know that it's dozens and dozens of people who have died in this fire. The latest number I heard was 36, but having watched many news broadcasts, also tweets of just regular people who are posting on Twitter, a whole lot are saying that people were literally stranded. This is it's so reminiscent of the campfire, and they're going to lowball the number of people who have died, but all of the animals that have died as well. It's just horrific. It's so, we're looking at evil that a whole lot of people just cannot comprehend. That there are people this evil? Well, there are.
Residents and tourists have been forced to run for their lives, some jumping into the ocean to escape the flames. The island of Maui is worse affected, with homes and businesses lost.
Notice also the single structures with nothing else burning around them. When this is over, the footage when it does come out is going to be houses burned to the ground with all of the trees and foliage around them untouched. Notice that as they go through this.
Joining us from the island of Maui is Clint Hansen. Good morning to you, Clint. Well, what's the current situation in Maui?
Well, it is not a good situation at all. I've been running on about 2.5 hours of sleep and calls, messages from people trying to find out if their home is still there, where their family is at. And I'm just trying to get out in Lahaina. I'm waiting for to take me out there so I can get additional footage and check on people's family and pets. But right now it is a disaster zone. There are vehicles that are able to get out there that are able to deal with the emergency specifically. But right now, people understandably are not allowed to make a bad situation first. So I am biding my time and being patient to get out there to get more information. It was a terrifying night last night because fires were all over the island, threatening where I live as well. I came from Lahaina. I missed the fire by 30 minutes. And when those embers came up, it just burned everything to the ground. It came through with such ferocity that it burned the boats to the water line. Nobody expected this. They knew that we were going to see winds. We've seen fire before. We're not strangers to it. But it came so suddenly, and our resources were spread so thin, we were just not ready for this. And now, while 6 have been reported dead, I would not be surprised if that number is significantly higher.
Clint, we are just so sorry this has happened to your home and so many people affected. So this tiny little town of Lahaina, just down from the major resorts, which a lot of tourists in Australia would be very familiar with. What time did it start sweeping through? Would tourists have been there enjoying their night out as well as the locals?
A lot of people don't realize the fire actually started the day before. So when it sparked up again, there was minimal resources there because they were dealing with major fires on other parts of the island. It started later in the evening, right around, I believe, 4:30, 5. And when the evening time finally came and sunset was at 7, the smoke was so acrid and dark you couldn't really see the sun set at all in my part of town, which is close to an hour away. So, you know, I haven't been able to check with friends. I've had friends jumping on mopeds to go out there to see their family and rescue their parents, and they have disappeared. They're not getting back in contact. So it's really terrifying, you know, to hear when children are being picked up and separated from their families because, you know, school was due to start tomorrow. So everybody was in a different place than they were ready to be and trying to get back into the swing of the school year. And they don't want to drive through the channel because of the bodies in the water. It's just,
do you see this?
It's a really bad situation. If anybody can lend a hand, the best.
Right as he says they don't want to drive through the channel because the body's in the water, notice what's on the screen on the right, laying in the middle of the road. I don't want to get this video pulled for graphic content. Just notice.
Okay, I'm going to put the link in again. There you go. So, you know, this was, I came across this video. I wasn't searching Lahaina. June 7, 2023. Last video driving down, you know, the streets of Lahaina before devastating fire. Look how beautiful this place is. the banyan tree, the very famous tree that, yeah. Well, what you just saw, it's no longer. It's gone. Gone. Hawaii wildfires. Aerial footage shows historic town burnt to the ground. And as you can see, even before I start the video, look at the trees untouched. But all of these businesses and homes, yeah, decimated, vaporized, brought to slab.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at the harbor. Oh my gosh.
A resident reacts to devastation.
They're so black. This guy. You can see it from here.
That's dangerous.
Danger. There's stuff, the tree will fall right on your head, you'll die.
Oh.
This is a nationwide issue at this point. Yeah, we need help. A lot of help. We gotta get people down here. We need funds allocated for fixing our home. I just knew that it had choke smoke and I couldn't tell where I was sometimes, and sometimes I could. You know, it's a short road, front street. If you guys walk down the street, you see it's completely burnt. And if I saw somebody, I helped them. But I felt like these guys wasn't going to get help because I seen so much people walking, and that's what we do in Lahaina. We don't leave people behind, you know? That's just how we roll. We've been pulling people out since last night, trying to save people's lives. And I feel like we're not getting the help we need, you know? Oh my God.
Welcome to the new America.
This is downtown Front Street. This is downtown Front Street. Hard to even put into words.
Heartbreaking images coming from Maui's Lahaina.
It's like a war zone.
Everybody we know lost their homes. Every apartment.
We don't know
complex.
anyone yet who kept their homes.
James and Tennille Brueggemann sent us this video showing the damage in Lahaina, burned out cars just left in the street.
But these cars are probably trying to get out of town, is my guess. And they did not make it.
Exactly like a war zone. People, dead people in the streets, dead animals in the streets, cars abandoned, everything burnt. Looks like it got bombed. It really does.
You actually saw bodies in the street?
Yes.
Oh my God.
But one person who did make it out is former San Francisco resident Marjorie St. Clair, who drove through flames to get to safety.
I thought, well, I am not going to just sit here in this parking lot and, well, to be a little bit over the top, die in a car because I can't breathe. You know, I'm just going to go for it.
Others vacationing sent us these pictures of what it looked like from their vantage point. Garrett Tom of San Francisco, who is on vacation in Maui, spoke to us on the phone as he stood in the ocean to get a signal. At the same time, you're okay, and your family's okay.
Yes, that's what we're thankful for. Some people have lost their homes, hotel workers.
So many in this area still in a bit of shock over the extent of the damage.
We had no warning. It was barely even an announcement. And then the next thing we know, the winds are gusting up to 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, and there's fires popping everywhere.
You heard.
And they are popping everywhere. It's not just Lahaina or Maui, but other areas.
As the sun rose this morning, this is what residents woke up to in Lahaina. At the center of town, a hub famous for its art galleries, restaurants, and shops right along the water. This is one of the areas where residents jumped in the ocean, fearing for their lives as flames and smoke engulfed the historic town.
A frequent visitor to Maui left in limbo by the fires. Robert Avon and his wife were staying at the timeshare in Ka'anapali. The California couple got stranded in Wailea after lunch yesterday. They got stuck for 5 hours trying to make it back to West Maui. They ended up spending the night in their car in the Walmart parking lot.
The parking lot was about 75% full of people like us that were displaced either from as a tourist, as well as people who had to evacuate, as well as some people lost their homes that we had met, unfortunately.
They did find a hotel, but all of their belongings are now unreachable with little hope of getting them before leaving Saturday. It's a scenario hundreds or possibly thousands of visitors are experiencing. Well, thousands of people are impacted by fires on Maui. Both locals and visitors are looking for a place to stay.
All the while, the blazes are still a problem. Daryl Huff is live in Kihei, where
I was looking for one particular interview. Not sure where it is, but let's see if it's here.
Let's get right to our breaking news this morning out of Hawaii, where unprecedented wildfires have decimated parts of the island of Maui.
Overnight, officials revealed that at least 36 people have died in the fires. The flames were fanned by strong winds from Hurricane Dora. More than 11,000 people were forced to flee their homes, many in the middle of the night. Some even had to dive into the ocean to escape the flames and the smoke. Among the hardest hit areas of Maui, the historic town of Lahaina, the old capital of the Hawaiian Kingdom, was reduced to ashes as the wildfires ripped through its streets, destroying buildings and homes. Overnight, Hawaii's lieutenant governor spoke out about the devastation, warning that the recovery process could take a long time. President.
Sorry, it's very hard to listen to these government officials. You know, she starts talking about Secretary Mayorkas of Homeland Security is on it, and FEMA is on it, and you're going to get all the help that you need because they're very, very concerned. You can't tell me that Mayorkas doesn't know how to start a fire. The many ways in which they have. Oh, wait.
My son and his girlfriend and 2 kids were at the house, and we evacuated immediately. No cell phone coverage, no internet, no way to contact the outside world. And we got to this side of the island about midnight last night. My wife and dog, and slept in the parking lot at Whole Foods. Woke up this morning and got on our phones to pictures of our house. Just down to the slab. Nothing but smoke. Cinders.
In just a few moments, we will get the latest weather update from our meteorologist, Angie Lassman. Before that, let's speak with Bella.
Yeah. Slab. Nothing left. It's just a slab. Right? Yeah, that's what happens with wildfires. They literally decimate. They bring to dust all of these homes, and they somehow just they leap over, the trees. It's remarkable. They miss some homes as well.
A piece of paradise lost. Charred remains on Maui after terrifying flames burned through the iconic Hawaiian island.
This is not even the worst of it.
I'm sorry, I had a lot to do today. And I was unable to prepare for this, but I can't do any more, so why not spend the time with you?
Wildfires in Hawaii causing massive devastation on the island of Maui. So far, the death toll rising to more than 30 people and hundreds of buildings have been destroyed. Fox 5's Robert Moses tracking this morning. And Robert, even since we've been on the air, that death toll has gone up.
Yes, Dan, unfortunately, right before our 4:30 show began, the death toll went from 6 and then multiplied by 6. It's now up to 36. The owner of a company that offers helicopter tours in Hawaii says the damaged areas look like they have been bombed. Paradise lost. 3 wildfires that started on Tuesday on the island of Maui, fanned by heavy winds from Hurricane Dora to the south, turned tourist destinations into burning hellscapes. The coastal town of Lahaina was especially hard hit. Reports say the town is completely destroyed. The smoke and flames got so intense that the Coast Guard had to rescue at least a dozen people who jumped into the ocean to escape them. In announcing the fatalities, Maui's mayor called this an inconsolable time. Ash. Dozens of homes and businesses have been flattened. Maui's main hospital has been treating burn patients and those suffering from smoke inhalation.
You have to wonder how many people are dead. Well, I do. It's, all of these people are trying to leave the island, you know?
Were stranded at Maui's main airport.
It's just scary to see a big wildfire just kind of coming your way, and it's not something I ever experienced before.
President Joe Biden pledged all available federal assets to help with the response. And former President Barack Obama, who was born in Hawaii, said in a statement, "Michelle and I are thinking of everyone who has lost a loved one."
You know, after listening to these people lie and lie and lie, feign care when they don't, and you know it, it literally repulses me. I have a visceral response to these people. I can't listen to it. They're disgusting people, and I mean, Americans are just so into celebrity however they can get it. Why am I the only one with a photo of the Maui fire up country in Kalinda? Why isn't the news covering the upcountry disastrous fires? What is Oprah hiding on her ranch? They may have already burned down. The dirty deep state can care less. Evil doesn't care. Evil doesn't care. We have an awful lot of evil people who, boy, when I just try to say something a little bit differently and it doesn't work. Well, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, man.
This morning we're learning, as we mentioned off the top, 36 people have died in the Lahaina fire in Maui, Hawaii. That's according to a statement posted online from Maui County.
And there are so many heartbreaking images showing wiped out homes, communities, and businesses. So let's go to ABC 10's Conchetta Callahan now.
She's at Sacramento International Airport. A nonstop flight right now is scheduled to depart from Sacramento to Maui's airport at 7:15. Still on schedule, Conchetta?
no delays, no cancellations. That's a Hawaiian Airlines flight set to leave in less than an hour. Now, people are being told not to go to Maui because resources are so limited there. But despite everything that's been going on, the airport in Maui has remained operational since the fire started on Tuesday. I spoke to travelers that are scheduled for that 7:15 flight this morning, and they all say they're on it. They're not concerned, but they're only connecting in Maui.
I have a 2-week time that I have to go, and I don't, and I want to go on my vacation. This is my only vacation for this year. I'm just
My vacation. That's the most important thing. My vacation. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I'm just passing through. Yeah. I saw some tweets. People really pissed. These were angry tweets. But the vacationers who were only concerned about their vacation and could give a shit that entire communities, neighborhoods, people dying, animals dying, just get me on the plane because I got a vacation to do. I want to relax on the beach.
Activity could be near the upper end of our predicted ranges. One of the local conditions in the Atlantic that we monitor is the sea surface.
What is this? This is live? What is this? I don't know. All right, so the aerial footage. Aerial. The before and after. This is the after. This is the before. Look at the after. Wow. Clean streets. Trees amongst these homes, untouched. And all of these homes brought to slab. Yeah. Wow. It's remarkable, these fires, how they seem to attack businesses and homes and cars, but I guess they just really like trees and, bushes. Look, it's dustified. Look at this. All right, well. Just keeps happening.
Well, let's go back to Hawaii, which is just reeling after a devastating wildfire just overtook the island of Maui. We are going to give you a live report coming up here in about, just about 15, 20 minutes. So stay with us here on Fox Weather. We have just absolute devastation. Looking at Saturn, you can see the smoke from the fire really lifting off to the north of all of those homes. But the flames went all the way out.
Funny, smoke right here. This took place in about 24 hours. But all of these homes have been literally just they're gone. Okay? Smoke here. You don't even see any remnants of smoke or fire really anywhere else, which is strange. Everything, well, it's not strange to us because we know what's going on. Oh boy, I lined this up way too early because I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I I can't even remember why. Hundreds of stranded travelers. Okay.
Get people to leave Maui, to leave Kahului Airport. And the way to do that has been $19 tickets. You can see there are a lot of people lined up trying to go different places, some dealing with 12 or 24-hour delays back to the mainland. But the idea behind the $19 tickets was not just to get people to Honolulu, but also on Southwest, you can fly for $19 and get to Lihue on Kauai or to Kona on the Big Island. Now, I had a chance to talk to a lot of people who really worked hard to get to the airport today. They had to leave the area north of Lahaina, and the only way to do that was the treacherous Kahekili Highway. Take a look at this video that I shot last year. This is the Kahekili Highway as it twists and turns on the north shore of Maui. Now, a lot of people, in order to get out of Napili and other areas to the north of Lahaina this morning, woke up at 5 a.m. and waited for an opening where they could so it was sporadically open to take the highway and make your way back to Kahului. I spoke to a couple of travelers in a garden outside, some still waiting to enter the airport, waiting to get a flight. Here's what one of them told me about the journey.
Kind of just got convinced. We had heard that that other highway was open, and to give it a shot and kind of discuss it. And we didn't know if we were going to get stuck out there. We were low on gas, and we wouldn't get by gas stations. They weren't pumping any gas, so we were kind of measuring how much gas we had versus the trip. And
food was running out, and all the power was out, so we couldn't have any of our food in fridges. And
yeah, so
there are a lot of stories that are really just amazingly heartbreaking. Before, after. Wow. The thing with evil people is that they never have to think about their behavior. They just go ahead and do whatever the hell they want to do. Now, they might think about their behavior in terms of being crafty and clever and trying to fool people, but they don't have a conscience that actually pulls them back a bit and they think, well, maybe I shouldn't do this. No, it's full speed ahead with whatever it is that they want to do. This is the consequence of pure, unadulterated evil. Yeah, well, evil spreads. Yeah, how? Well, when a whole lot of good men and women sit around doing nothing. Look at this. It's really quite remarkable. Where all these people, where are the people? All right, no, babe, no. I'm sorry, honey, I'm sorry. No. All right, guys. Yeah. Ain't this fun? It's so much fun. All right. You can't go out. No. Stop it. All right. I have a garbage in front of the cat door. And boy, babe is pretty strong. I have something heavy in the garbage pail, and he was moving it to try to get out. Okay, so, yeah.
And I need to ask this question as respectfully as I can. We do know from the county officially there have been 6 fatalities. Is your estimate that there will be many, many more from what you saw unaddressed there?
I would assume it's much, much, much higher by what I saw.
Wow.
I couldn't approximate numbers on that, but there were those cars abandoned on the road. I don't think those people could get out in time. They probably headed to the ocean. The ones that could make it. Mm-hmm. And people leaving their homes, if If a young person could barely get out of there with their family, then the elderly are trapped. Those that are handicapped, there's no way. Those numbers are much higher. It's terrifying. To think about all these families losing their loved ones and their homes. We're doing everything we can over here, and it's beautiful to see the island come together. It's just terrible that it's such a horrific event.
Look at this. So, it's the same old that they have been pulling off for so long. And more people and we don't really know what method they are using for all of this. But we do know, and in fact, I'm going to pull up my video. Boy, have I aged. I have aged. It's serious. It's serious. But I posted a video on just a military document about all of the fabulous ways in which they can start these fires. Damage to scale. Damage to scale. And that's what we see. Damage to scale. In terms of, let's just vaporize that home. And the clean streets that you see, the tree that is still unaffected. I don't know where it is. Let's see. Scalar weapons in the hands of the most evil. Oh. Okay. Here it is. Wildfires, directed energy weapons, PDF proves melting and vaporization and microwave interactions with targets. And I will put the link in the chat if anybody wants to check it out, but there are a whole lot. The arsenal is pretty. Look, we know of some weapons. What about the weapons we don't know of? But look at this. All of the trees still standing. It's remarkable how these wildfires just kind of select out the homes. And left this one completely untouched. But it brought down to dust all of these. Right here on the water, but this one, miraculous. How lucky. Yep. Trees around, trees. Homes, all of these homes. Over and over and over again. My God, and we can't even have adult conversation with people about what might be taking place. Maybe it's not climate change. Maybe it's not because, there's a drought. Maybe it's not because, the hurricane that's coming towards Maui and the winds and, that means wildfire, the wind, and it's dry. Wildfire season. How did a boat in the water get torched? Well, if it's torching other places, well, look at that boat, man. Woof! Gone. But this little bush here that has very thin, well, they're saying it's very, very dry on this tropical island. That should have gone up. Whew. Yeah. Still haven't heard from my dad. Lives in Lahaina, and is known as Shadow to the locals. If anyone has any information, please reach out. I'm sure there's going to be an awful lot of that. People posting, wanting to know what has happened to their loved ones. Yeah. Well, our lovely world.
Residents of one of the few
that has really turned into something gross. Just grossly evil.
residents in one of the few remaining affordable neighborhoods in the Bay Area now finding out their rent is about to more than double.
Everyone is terrified.
This is just overwhelming. Well, residents in the Petaluma mobile home park say their landlord is retaliating against them for helping get new rent control ordinances passed in the city.
The tenants are all senior citizens, and the residents tell our John Ramos they're worried they could soon end up on the streets.
Last week, we told you a story about a couple of mobile home parks in Petaluma that threatened closure, leaving the residents confused and scared about what was going to happen to them. But that's not the end of the story. A few days later, they got something in the mail that was even more traumatizing. The story begins in 2020 when the Youngstown Mobile Home Park was sold to new owners. Despite being rent controlled, residents soon got a notice of rent increases of 40%. They fought the rent hike in arbitration and won. And then Jody Johnson began lobbying for new city ordinances that would strengthen the rules around rent control. To her amazement, they won again.
We were just simply elated that they understood the complexity of it, because it is complex. We own the properties, but we have to pay the ground.
But shortly thereafter, the notices began coming. First, there was an advisory that the park might change its seniors-only status. Then residents got a letter saying the park could close altogether, with a consultant going door to door to inquire about the real estate value of each home. Finally, the real bombshell hit.
On Wednesday morning, in the mail, came a 200-page notice of rent increase. Anywhere, depending upon where your ground rent was, anywhere from 109% to 159%.
Petaluma's current rent control policy caps increases at about 2% for this year. For the residents, most on fixed incomes and many in their 80s and 90s, the prospect of having to pay an additional $923.41 is out of the question.
Everyone is terrified. They're like, this is my life savings. I don't have anything after this. I don't know where I would go. We can't move these units.
It puts them in a downspell. I mean, it's depressing a lot of people, and they're going into a shell, they're into a shock, and a lot of these people are not mobile. I mean, they're old.
Rudy McGlenty got his packet saying his rent would be raised from $1,300 to nearly $2,300 per month. The 81-year-old just moved in 2 years ago and says it's been a constant series of threatening letters.
But this is just overwhelming. I have a next-door neighbor. She's panicking. She's worried about the fact that she's going to be thrown out on the streets.
We contacted the property owner's lawyer this afternoon, and they maintain that rent control ordinances, like Petaluma's, are an unconstitutional taking of private property. In a statement, attorney Larissa Brains says Petaluma's mobile home rent control ordinance cannot act as an unconstitutional taking of private property because all property owners in the U.S. are constitutionally entitled to earn a fair and reasonable return on the capital they invested to buy their property. So this may be shaping up as a legal challenge to the concept of rent control in general. But instead of suing the city over it, they're forcing a group of senior citizens to defend it.
Well, even though the proposed rent hikes are clearly above the cap, the issue still must go to arbitration, which should happen within the next 60 days.
This shouldn't happen at all. Not at all. We have an awful lot of ordinary Americans who are truly immoral. They're a complete and utter disgrace. They care about nothing but their own little hide. They lie. And apparently they do whatever the hell they want to do. And they don't seem to have any shame. I'm trying not to curse. They screw with people's lives. They don't care. Too bad for you. Wow. 200 pages. Yeah, Scoville 7. Amazing, isn't it? 200 pages. Yeah, give that to a 90-year-old to sift through. I don't know what's wrong with people. But something is very wrong with people. They ain't behaving at all right. So, you know what, guys? I crashed. I really crashed. I can't continue. I'm going to leave it going for 10 minutes. I'll come back just so that you guys can chat amongst yourselves, whatever goes on in the chat for it. I'll come back and shut down the live in 10 minutes. Sorry, I'm just really, done in, as they say. All right. Okay, I'm back to say goodnight. Be careful out there. Be prepared for anything. And, yeah, I wish you all well. I hope you never have to suffer any of these consequences brought about by the evil among us. And be a force of good. Help those in need in your communities. Be a trustworthy human being. Live honestly, speak honestly. And on that note, I say good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.